Okay, guys. So again, just back to you with your global feedback based on the answers you posted for yesterday's question. Really, like I feel like every week you're getting better and better, and it's really great for me because, like, when I was working in my previous job, when I was teaching IELTS, we had like 32-hour courses, which were divided into 16 2-hour lessons. So in those 16 lessons, we needed to cover absolutely everything. So what I used to do was have 3 lessons on reading, 3 lessons on listening, 3 for speaking, 3 for task 1, 3 for task 2. So you can kind of imagine the difference in quality where Chris has developed a full course on task 1 with 12 lessons, and then these demo lessons going on since the start of January. Is that I've never really had the opportunity to kind of go over so many questions and look at so many different look at so many different answers and kind of develop on what we're building on for so long. So like to develop your answers and build on top of the previous demo lessons. So I mean, it's really great to see the improvement from all of you guys. It's like very rewarding for me too. So here's the question I gave you yesterday. So I'm sure you've seen it before, seen that you've actually answered it. Strengths. So what I was focusing on yesterday was analysing the question and details paragraphs, which you've all done a good job of. So you're able to analyse it, you're able to choose your key features, you're able to include everything in the details paragraphs. There was a little bit of a slip in informal vocabulary. I think this is probably coming from a thesaurus. I'm guessing like a lot of you were using synonyms for adult and children, which wouldn't really be suitable. But besides that, vocabulary was good variety, using the adjectives and adverbs like we were talking about before. Some of you were using like fractions. So for example, this one here, 25%, some of you were saying a quarter, and 10% here, some of you were saying a tenth. So you're using a nice variety and just kind of showing off what you're capable of without pushing yourself too far. So, I mean, really good. Paraphrases were accurate. Some of you went overboard with including too much in the paraphrase. When you're paraphrasing, I would just say stick to what's in front of you here. So just paraphrase this. Don't add anything extra. Don't remove anything from it. And I know I've said this a million times before, but if you haven't done the previous demo lessons, I think they would actually be more suitable for you. And you can find them either in the video section of the Facebook group, or if you go to the various question types in the course. So click on the module and you will see the demo lessons, the links for the demo lessons in that too. Just that the earlier lessons were kind of, they were done in a way where it was I was spelling it out and kind of making it easier and pretty much helping you a lot more than I am now. So if you're finding these a bit more difficult, it's probably because I'm giving you less help. So those were the strengths. Weaknesses were basically the overviews were a bit simple. So you did analyze the data correctly, you did write correct overviews or like accurate overviews, and they were overviews. So you did write an overview, but what most of you went with was this, was food for adults. Oh, excuse me. Food for adults and music for children. So it is correct. It is an overview. It is the most important one. But when you look at the information here, I mean, maybe it wouldn't be worth doing if like children had the lowest here and then the lowest for boys was here and the lowest for girls was here. It probably wouldn't be worth mentioning, or it would take too long. It wouldn't really be a key feature. But when you just see very plainly that food was the lowest for children in total, and videos was the lowest for adults. So basically, like adults is the combination of men and women together. So when you're talking about adults, men and women, you can say that all of them were in highest in food and lowest in videos. Children were highest in music and lowest in food. Obviously, you want to phrase it better than I just did, but that would be the essential component of the overview. And what this is doing is it's just showing that you have analysed the question, that you've noticed these key features, and when you add them in your overview, it's a bit more complex. You have more complexity to your overview, and this will help you to get a higher score. To be honest, that's pretty much the main weakness. There's like there will always be some errors in vocab and grammar. I mean, that's a given. You can get the scores you need while still making errors. You'll know yourself when you get the feedback from the writing correction service if grammar and vocabulary is an issue for you. But for the most part, you're doing quite well, and a good variety and a good level of accuracy. So I think this is the main one. Was just you simplified the overview too much. That was the main weakness. So as usual, I've just pulled out 4 random sentences with mistakes, and I want you to correct these. So pause the video, get a pen and paper. You correct the 4 sentences yourself, and when you're ready, I will show you my answers. So I'll just give you 5 seconds there before I continue. Right, so this is what I came up with. So the first one, gives was already correct, so the chart gives is fine, but provides just for academic writing sounds a bit better. It's kind of more suitable for academic writing. The chart provides information on what adults and children spend their money on. So what they spend their money on. So that there is more accurate than this one. So the way grown-ups and youngsters spend their money. So that could be something else. That could be to do with like how fast they spend it. It could be, do they use cash, or do they use debit cards or credit cards or something like that. So it's just a little bit vague the way it's written in the first one. The second one, overall it is shown that males and females spent the majority of their earnings on food, whereas children spent their money mainly on music in 1998. So it was just the part about children that had to be changed a bit. So this phrase, use with money, those don't collocate, excuse me. We don't really say use money in this context like this. And then this, to purchase music. So again, we wouldn't really phrase it like that. So we would talk about like purchasing CDs, purchasing whatever format, or downloading MP3s. But when we're just talking about music in general, we just say like spend their money on music. So it's more to do with the collocations again. So it's just that we don't use these words together like that too much. Number 3, the table illustrates the percentages of adults and children's money that was spent on food, electrical devices, music, and videos in the UK in 1998. So the first thing here is the UK in the middle. I know that the children and the adults are from the UK, and that's correct, but it complicates things because there's too much going on in here already. So it's easier just to put it at the end where you would expect to find it. This person was trying to use the word percentages, but we wouldn't say that they consumed it in percentages in food. So here again, you're trying to say that the units are percentages, but the way it's been written, that doesn't really work because you're saying in percentages in food, electrical devices. So these two together here, you need to separate these because it doesn't make sense like that. So the table chart became the table, illustrates the percentages of money, adults and children's money that was spent on food, electrical items, music and videos in the UK in 1998. So it's just to do with word order and just avoiding kind of confusion with putting the two together here. And the other one then was the word money, came from wages. So the question was talking about income, and income could be like pocket money for children, so the children would get pocket money from their parents or whatever way it would work like that. But they don't necessarily have wages, and a wage would come from a job, and it's not very likely that that is what is happening in the situation. So just that word wouldn't be suitable for children, even if you could say it for adults, I suppose, but it doesn't. You can't use it to talk about the income for children. And the last one then we had adults use most of their income. So here it came from adults use most of income, so you need some kind of a possessive pronoun or an article or something before income. So most of their income on food, with, at, an average. Oh, my mistake there. I should have deleted with. So that should be income on food at an average of 25%, whereas women spend 39% and men spend about half of that. So here, this is a reference word and it's supposed to be referencing half of 39% or half of 25%. So here, whereas we're using a cohesive device to connect this first 25% with men and women. So we're trying to connect what happened with adults in general between what happened with men and women. So already I'm trying to connect men and women back to this percentage, but then it's not clear if men spend half of what women spend or spend half of what adults in general spend. So that there's, I didn't know how to correct it because I'm not sure exactly which one it's referring to, but it could have been half of what adults spent or half of what women spent. Would have been much clearer than just of that because they're two percentages already. Okay, so that's it. A fairly short global feedback today, just basically because the overviews were the only real thing that stood out as a weakness, and that would come from, like, your overview, your kind of more simple overviews were fine, but if you're looking for higher scores, you should be trying to make it a bit more complex as well. But not that your overviews were wrong, just that they could have been a bit better. So that's it for this week, and if you have any questions, please just feel free to post them in the comments under this video, and thank you all for watching again. Take care of yourselves now. Bye.